Hey everybody, this is Mr. Hartzler. I'm going to show you today about how to make the miniature train hitch peg. It is deceptively difficult. So looking at this, it says spherical radius 0.208. What's that make our diameter? Well, it makes our diameter 0.416. But if you notice right here, the diameter is not 0.416, which means I'm not using just a semicircle or just the top half of a circle. I'm actually a little bit higher up, or I'm cutting off more than the bottom half of that circle. So it's a little bit trickier than what you might suspect. So you're aware of what I'm going to do. I'm going to first draw this edge. And even before that, I'm going to do this rectangle. I'm going to put a line across the top. Then I'm going to bring in a circle, and I'll show you what I do with it after that. So I'm going to get rid of this view, and let's start the build. Again, surprisingly difficult, so maybe you want to watch this video first and then go about doing it. We do a couple of weird things. I'm going to start on my XY plane. I'm going to build a rectangle. Let me make sure I start at my origin here. Again, I'm making just this half because I'm going to revolve it around. So instead of being 0.25 for my rectangle here that's going to revolve, it's actually going to be half of that. So as I come down, I'm going to type in, let Inventor do my math, 0.25 divided by 2, tab, and I am the full height of 0.5. Press escape because I'm done doing rectangles. Now I'm going to do a line, starting at my origin. Zoom in a little here. Not too much. Starting at my origin, and I'm going to come out 0.4. Oh, sorry. I'm cutting that in half. So that needs to be 0.2. There we go. Alright, so I have my rectangle on my bottom, have my line. Now I'm going to bring in a circle. Any old place. I do not want to be very particular when I'm doing that because then it won't let me dimension later. And this is supposed to have a radius of 0.208, but Inventor wants a diameter. So I'm going to multiply that by 2. Alright, so now I've got a circle floating around here. But over here, if I'm building, or sorry, I already built this rectangle and a line from here all the way across, I want that line to come in contact with my circle. So I'm going to come up to my constraints. This is to the right of dimension. And I'm going to do the top left box in that little constraint window. If it'll pop up, hopefully it will. There we go. You should see coincident constraint. It really just makes two things touch each other now or lie along the same curve. So I'm going to click on coincident, click on the end of this line. I'm going to zoom in a little more. This end, and then my circle, and you'll watch it move. It did. So now those two things are touching. The circle almost looks like it's centered, but I again want to make sure that those two are on the same spot. So I'm going to click the center of my circle and this edge, and you can see it move just a little bit more. And I now have a larger yellow dot there. This circle is now touching that flat line, and the center of the circle is now touching this edge. That's exactly where I want it to be. One more small line to add from here up to the top of my circle. Make sure it actually sits at the very top. Alright, press escape because I'm done doing lines. I'm actually going to trim some stuff away now, some things I don't need. So I'm going to go to trim, which is in the little modify section, up towards the center of my toolbar up here. I'm going to trim away this half of the circle. I'm going to trim away this part of the circle. And I'm going to trim away this little piece right here. And if you notice, that looks an awful lot like this little cutout right here. This half sectional view. Alright. I'm going to finish that sketch. I'm going to revolve. At first, notice there's two red, angry, aggressive things here. But the profile one, it's hard to tell, but there's a small checkered pattern around that one. So I need to do my pattern or profile first. I want this and this bottom piece. Then I have to choose an axis that I'm revolving around. And it's going to be over here. And it revolves all the way around. I want it to do a full rotation. Otherwise I could do something like a 180 and only get half of my peg. But I want the whole thing. So I'm going to type in 360. Another word for full. And look at that. Hard to tell, but look right there. That is more than half my circle. Let's actually edit that a little so you can see it again. The center of my circle is down here where my cursor is. That's well below this line that's cutting it off. So I'm cutting off just a tiny little portion of the top of that sphere. And that's what makes this one kind of weird. If this were to come down to be a semicircle, it would probably be down right about here. And again, that's what adds to some challenge of this. Looking at the plans, it also wants an optional chamfer. I'm going to do the chamfer. Why not be fancy, folks? Come on now. Let's go for the challenge. So I want to go to chamfer. It's in my 3D model tab. I'm going to choose this option, middle picture here, because I want a distance and an angle. My distance is 0.01. My angle is 45, so I'm going to leave that alone. And again, my face has a red thing right there. My actual face. You guys can't see me. That's kind of one of the benefits of just doing it with the little screen video here. But anyway, this face is red. So I'm going to choose the face I'm chamfering. And I need to choose the edge. Again, the edge is right here. So I click on the edge. And look at that. Beautiful little chamfer on the bottom. Hit OK. And you can see my peg has a small chamfered edge on the bottom, or a little beveled edge. Makes it a little easier for that peg to get started. Helps it line up. You know, those things. Could be great right there. Make sure when you save this, if you're in my class, we're going to save it as our train hitch peg. Save it in the right folder. Come on, folks. Let's not screw that up. If I come over and I can't find out where it is, it's your fault, not mine. Keep that in mind. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe. Remember, my Twitter is Mr. Hartzler Math.